Hello.
New York. I love this city. I hate this city. I hate New York. We have so many books of the World of Darkness talking about how much New York City sucks. And Ryan, you deleted it.
Fantastic. Ryan had put on the Discord chat like a Microsoft Paint saying "Rage Across New York."
Part 1.
Is that what was it? It was I remember there was like a Gang Grumps bit where Aaron and Danny were saying, "What if we uploaded a video where it was a full nude photo of the two of us?" And then we immediately went to YouTube editor and removed it and just gaslit the fans thinking, did you see that moment? Did you see? Is that real? Is that real? And just get the fans to fight over whether or not it was real or not.
When the fuck was this?
That was one of their old episodes. I think it was back in like 2016 or something.
Oh, that was back when
they
they were
didn't
still
actually
funny.
do it. Yeah, they didn't do it, but if they did,
It would have been really funny, I'm not gonna lie.
Reminds me of the meme of the author releasing 10 books with all different endings, and then, like, after years, he announces that he released 11 books, and they're all trying to find it.
Oh.
Yeah. You'll find the 11
That's
Chaos
funny.
Emeralds.
I like that.
So try to find all the Dragon Balls. Here. And we begin with the most complicated, weirdest, crammed-full, shock mess of a setting. In all of World of Darkness, we have too many things going on in New York City. This is the busiest spot in the entire story.
I mean, it's New York.
We got New York City. What is the population of New York City?
I don't know, but I can look it up. Let me check.
I'm gonna tell you right now. It's 8 million, 8.3 million.
Yeah,
that's the population.
It's a lot of fucking people.
And it's a city in decline because everybody's leaving New York City because this is a terrible place to live. We have known this for years. You keep coming here anyway, and only now are you learning your lesson.
Yeah, somehow it peaked in 2020, and then it was on the way back down.
Yeah, exactly. That was the start of the ruination. And
nuts.
now you've got everybody from New York wanting to move to Charlotte, where I'm beginning to become a stranger in my own city because you've got so many different from the north
transplants,
coming
New
down
York
here.
transplants.
Is that I'm
pretty soon Sean's gonna come down there and y'all be able to hang out.
I would be just never leave that guy alone if he did.
Hang on, you roboted real hard for a sec. What was that?
I'll never let that as the case then.
Okay.
I'm meeting so many people.
You are still roboting, my guy, and I don't know why. Did you walk through the eponymous room, or is it my... I think it might be my internet. Hang on. No, it's my internet. Give me 1 sec.
1 second. Just one little second.
There we go. That's miles better.
Just
Sorry, that was on me.
Second. I'm beginning to see all these different people in Charlotte that have Yankee accents. And I'm meeting less and less people that talk like me. And it's beginning to come to a point where it feels like the city is slowly beginning to change around me. And of course, there's nothing I can do to change that.
You can move to New York just to stick it to them.
Yeah, just to live in a place where I have to steal from a grocery store that's about to go out of business.
Yep. New York's... It's like that song by Fear. New York's all right if you love saxophones.
Yeah, if I did not care about us getting dinged by Disney, I would have the Hamilton soundtrack playing in the background.
Again, I've never seen Hamilton.
That is Lin-Manuel Miranda, his last good album that he made, and then he just starts phoning it in from that point forward because he's just high off Disney money.
Well, I mean, that's what you do when you get paid a gazillion Disney bucks.
Yeah, you get paid by all this. It was Elton John before him. It was Hans Zimmer before him. And Hans Zimmer just phones it in. He went to Lion King 2019 red carpet event, shit-faced drunk, talking about how Pharrell Williams sees him as his big brother, but he doesn't see him as his little brother.
Look, if I had to, be a cog in the soulless corporate machine that was Disney, I'd probably drink myself to death on the Academy Awards night too.
This is what being locked in a room with Pharrell Williams does to you.
Makes you want to drink yourself to death?
Exactly. Yeah,
I mean, what?
That man doesn't have two brain cells to rub together. Oh, sake.
Why did you move far away from the microphone for a sec there?
I did. Let's begin.
Yes.
Let's see. I was
New York.
getting the fan started because I was beginning to sweat my balls off in here.
Yeah.
I know, I got charm coming out of my ass.
That's going to be in the episode.
Let's begin. Yeah, we're editing none of this out. All right. We begin with vampire history. Because, like I said before, there's a lot of stuff going on in New York City.
They're around
and
for longer.
The story technically begins with the Wendigo, but we've told a story how many times by this point? The Wendigo's history, the Ecaterina's history. We know how this works by this point. Gaia tells Yeti that there's land in the Pure Lands. They go across, the Wendigos stay up north, the Ecaterina and Croatan go south, purify the Pure Lands, and then the Croatans stay behind. The Ecaterina kind of linger around the area. The Wendigo refuse to ever leave Canada, and we know this story by this point. We know this story. You want us to go more in detail about it? Check out Rage Across Appalachia. That's where we go into full detail with the story.
Yes. Or the Croatan alt history, or the episode on the Wendigo, or the episode on the Ecaterina. It's gotten to the point where we can refer back to multiple videos for reference at this point.
This is the 5th time we're talking about this?
Yes. And we will talk about it again another time, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure. Probably gonna have to go back and do it again when we do the Black Spirals Part 2. But yeah, we'll save that down the line. We're going to remaster videos after a year of this channel existing. And here's the interesting thing. Now we get into the interesting history where new stuff comes in. According to the Sabbat historians, there were vampires in the Pure Lands that weren't Sabbat, weren't Camarilla, weren't Anarchs. They were Incarnu. Now, who are the Incarnu? A group of Methuselah and their children who want nothing to do with the Jihad, nothing to do with the Antediluvians, nothing to do with any of this. They just want to live in a bubble, away from everything, and just be at peace. They don't want to mess with this. They don't care about the Malphite. But the thing is, you have to be Generation 8 or higher to be a part of them. Or, sorry, lower in that case. I forgot. It's you live for a longer time, but you call yourself low generation. It's kind of backwards with vampire definition, but yeah. Because I think the youngest member of the Incarnu is 8th generation, and then everyone else is around an average of Generation 5 and Generation 6. And what these Incarnu did, they went up to the Croatan and said, "We're vampires. This is what we do. We have these powers. We just want to live in peace. We don't want any trouble. We're just going to chill out here." And the Croatan said, "Well, it's a little weird, but we don't sense the worm on you. You seem okay. We'll see how this works." And everything was fine until the Incarnu started draining and embracing their childer, their kinfolk. So the Croatan called the Ecaterina and then chased them out. It could have had a nice thing going, but at the same time, you can't exactly have a peaceful society with vampires.
No.
This is not quite possible. Even the Salubri has to drain people and kill them every now and then.
Yeah, but they do it consensually.
For a while, there were just no vampires in America whatsoever. That was until the Dutch came. The Dutch. What can you tell me about the Dutch during this time? It is 1570.
So the Dutch, basically, all the hipsters from France moved to Amsterdam, and the Dutch looked at what Spain and France and Portugal were doing, and were like, damn, we got to pillage some stuff. So then they went to New York and pillaged New York.
Hang
on. We're getting a robot again, I don't know why. One more time, I'm feeling. Get another... Oh, for God's sake. There we go. Sorry about that. My internet's on the shitter today.
Alright. How much bandwidth is being used right now?
I think my dad's streaming on Amazon. That might be taking a good bit of that.
Being streaming.
Yes.
And let's see, the fun thing with how this happens. The Dutch come over and everything seems fine at first. The Tremere are the ones to arrive in Fort Orange. You can already tell this is going to end well. And at the time, they were calling it New Amsterdam. Definitely doesn't roll off the tongue at all.
No.
You had New Amsterdam. The Tremere didn't want to go. The Tremere were just content with living in Europe forever, but the Ventrue said, no, you have to go because you're the strongest clan out of all of us. If there's something scary over there, you have the highest chance of surviving it. So the Tremere said, okay, let's go over, and they sit at Fort Orange, and of course the werewolves aren't happy about it, but they can't kill them because, as we know, nobody can turtle quite like the Tremere can. You want to kill the Tremere, you're going to wait a while. Because after all, they have all the fun rights and fun barriers that make it almost impossible to invade their chantries. So, Fort Orange stands, and it continues to stand. Then we have one Jan Pieterzoon and Hardstadt the Younger arrive. Have I told you about Hardstadt yet?
I don't believe you have.
This is Mr. Ventrue. There is nobody with skin in the game quite like Hardstadt the Younger. This guy's an evil bastard when you read about him. Oh my god, the stuff he does over the course of history.
He's the slipperiest of slippery bastards.
But we'll talk about him in another episode. We'll talk about him when we cover the Ventrue. This, post him in history pages, this is what he looks like.
The ventriest Ventrue that ever ventured a Ventrue.
Exactly, and he's
true.
He's a Ventrue.
Interesting.
He honestly looks like a D&D. He looks like a D&D character sheet.
Exactly. He was made for. Yeah, he's been around since the Dark Ages. And of course, we have my favorite character in all of the vampire. My favorite pre-generated vampire character, Jan Pieterzoon, as part of this. And as you know, Kyle, I love this guy. Love this guy.
Because his name rhymes. His name rhymes with Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, I really wanted to use this guy in Rage Cross, New York, but it just never happened.
Yeah, we avoided him.
Yep, there he is. By the way, that's the cover of Clan Book Ventrue, by the way, with the text removed.
Honestly, he looks like the lead singer of the Smooshing Pumpkins.
This is at the end. The villain of Bloodlines, Sebastian Lacroix, is trying to be him, but fails in every way because nobody can pull off this guy can.
Okay, 1 second.
And
sorry. He fails in every way?
He fails in every way because nobody can do politics quite like Jan can. I mean, this guy is Mr. Ventrue for a reason. He is the icon of Clan Ventrue for a damn good reason. And they both arrive in America, look around, say, Tremere, thank you for holding down the house. I don't know how to do a Dutch accent. They look around and say, America kind of sucks. There's nothing here. There's nothing developed. The people that live here live in long houses using animal pelts and wood, and they don't have guns, and they just farm and hunt and live in nature and
fight amongst each other.
And that's it. And that's it. There's none of the Ventrue je ne sais quoi that they're expecting. I mean, it's the new world. They were expecting to find a kingdom just as high tech as Europe and Asia. Instead, it's North America, where you had people that were content with years and years living nomadic lifestyles. I mean, the Iroquois just founded the democracy in the five tribes nation. That just formed, dude. So, immensely disappointed, they just hand off the Ventru. They just find a Ventru that's working with Mithras back in London and say, "Hey, you got anybody that wants a kingdom, but you're not going to promote?" Mithras says, "Oh, I've got this guy. Oh, perfect. Just throw him over in America. Just let him rule it. Forget it. No, but nobody really cares." And then Jan and Heartset quickly pack up and then leave because there's nothing to do in America, according to them. And of course, the Tremere stay behind, and things are, okay.
Getting robotic again. I don't know what the hell's going on tonight. Hang on. It's like the third or fourth time I've had to reconnect. Good
You're going to
Lord.
have to keep doing that through the entire episode until that streaming stops.
Pretty much.
So you keep your finger on the button when that happens.
Yep.
As history goes on, Bernard Hayne is the first Prince of New York, back then New Amsterdam. And he's not really important or fleshed upon because he is very quickly disposed of for being a sympathizer with the Anarchs. He is disposed, he is blood hunted, and to keep appearances, the Camarilla, being the Illuminati, allow the English to just flood New Amsterdam, take the city, and oh, behold, the English control America now. We're just going to pull the Dutch out. And behold, it's all controlled opposition. Nothing you do in your geopolitical game actually matters. Because the Camarilla still keep the city. It's just under new management. And this continues until 1673. The Sabbat step out in style. I mean, they've been an issue since the 16th century. And now the race for territory begins with the Camarilla and Sabbat. They're both racing to claim territory. So now the Camarilla has to quickly start developing America, but it's too late. Because nobody in the Camarilla actually cared enough to supply the Ventru Prince of New York.
Amsterdam.
Yep, New Amsterdam. Now it's known as New York because the English control it. The new kingdom is disposed of, and then Sabbat quickly claimed the territory, and it stays Sabbat territory. And one of my favorite lore characters takes over around this time. One Ecaterina, the Wise, takes over. Let me pull up her picture while you reset the Discord.
Well, no, we're still good right now.
Might as well do. I was going to say you might as well just hit that button.
I don't know if it's really the connection. It just like depends on like how high quality the bit rate is at the time. Just throw the picture at me.
Yeah, you mean the shit rate?
Right now, I don't know what's going on with it.
Yeah. How recent do you want her picture to be?
Well, I mean, given that this is the time that she first comes into power.
Not very.
Let's see. We'll use this. We'll use her Dark Ages picture. Would you like to guess her age?
Given you said Dark Ages, I'm going to guess about, and this takes place in the 1600s when the thing was founded. I'm going to say about like 400 years old.
Physically, how old is she?
Oh, like friggin' 30.
14.
What?
Yep.
They sired a 14-year-old.
Now, the story behind her is that she got attacked by Ventru agents who wanted to rape her. And they kind of sort of succeed. She escapes getting penetrated, but the lower half of her face is ripped off. And to survive that happening to you, the Bruja embrace her, and she becomes this Bruja Sabbat agent that stews for years. So when they find out, oh, we're going to America and we're going to mess up some shit, she hops on that. She is ready to tear the Camarilla a new one for the Latin life she's been given. And thanks to her doing such a great job in the invasion, New York is handed over to her, and she becomes the Archbishop of New York. So, behold, pissed off 14-year-old girl is your queen for, say, 300 years. And fun thing about her, she's voice acted.
Really?
You notice Vampire the Masquerade Redemption? she's in that game as a major character. She sires your character in that game.
Oh, that's kind of
Oh,
sick.
really?
Oh, fuck.
And she looks
hell.
like this. That's her injuries.
That's why she wears the mask, I take it.
Exactly. She would eventually get plastic surgery later down the line, but no, she's still seen wearing a mask in most of her pictures. And for a while, things are fine. She's got the Kingdom of New York. Everything's cool. And because it's the Sabbat, you've got to bring in the Sombra. You've got to bring in the Zimichi. And the Zimichi do what the Zimichi do best and immediately start causing shit in New York, leading to this massive power struggle between her and the Zimichi, resulting in Ecaterina killing the Zimichi bishop. I'm forgetting his name at the moment. I think it's Althayani is his name. And he's killed, and she says, no fucking Zimichi in New York. The entire clan is banned. Get out of here. And they all hit the trail. They all go south to Boston and Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and other shithole cities while New York tries to clean itself up. It's rare that you see the Bruja actually accomplishing something.
Yeah, but this is one of the rare dubs.
Yeah, she was started before the Bruja became nothing but degenerates.
Back when they had principled Bruja.
Now we introduce the villain of the story. Now, take a wild guess as to what clan he's from.
Tremere?
Okay.
So he is a La Sombra.
Uh,
One Francis Domingo de Polonia is our persistent villain for this story. You want to see his picture? Because he looks super edgy.
I
What up?
He's got the bleeding edge. Check this guy out.
don't know. He looks kind of cool, to be honest. He's got like the Static
Now-
X haircut.
He's also got this the red right hand kind of trope to him, because funny enough, inconvenient enough, he was sired the day he got a nasty sunburn, so his skin is red forever. I mean, like, this guy's like 255 saturated red
That's funny as shit.
That
at all times.
sucks.
Yeah, he is highly identifiable. There's no mistaking Polonia when you see him. And for a while, he does a decent job at running New York. While Ecaterina calls all the shots, he's handling the politics. He's looking around, making sure that no vampire is stepping over their bounds, that everybody's well behaved, and he does well. But he's secretly paving the way for the Zimichi to make their return into New York, and he brings them in slowly. He finds a few civilized, quote-unquote, Zimichi. Well, how civil can they be? They're Zimichi, right?
Yeah, just
And-
asking for trouble.
The thing is that he brings in a guy, Radu. You just spell his name Radu. Radu Bistri. And his portrait kind of he just looks like a dude, so I'm not going to bother posting him. He looks incredibly average for Zimichi. He may or may not be based off of Radu the Handsome, the younger brother of Vlad the Impaler. So, if he is the same guy,
I am known for being handsome, and my brother's known for impaling. I am
So,
known
you
for having a
know-
nice ass. He is known for sticking things up people's ass.
so former Shadow Lord kinfolk dude is who gets brought in, and he comes in and he says, I'm sorry about the other Zimichi. I'm a smart guy. I have paths of enlightenment. Look. And he presents the path of humanity to Ecaterina. And, this looks good. Come on in. We'll create a little church for you to teach vampires how to be more human. And it looks good, right? Except Radu dips out and replaces himself with his own guy. I'm making sure I get this guy's name right. One Blaise Karim takes his place. And Karim is interesting because he is one of the more restrained Sabbat. We don't have a picture for him, sorry. He has no art. But he's smart. He's a very smart Zimichi. The most dangerous kind, of course.
As we found out.
Yeah, as Ecaterina manages, Polonia manages the politics and money, and then you have Karim managing the religion, quote unquote, where he's infiltrated the Catholic Church, not the Catholic Church, the Protestant Church, and he's running stuff behind the scenes, and all is fair. And now we get into the werewolf part. We get to talk about one disgusting batch of bastards, the 7th generation. A faction so nasty. We go now again?
No, I'm just fuck the 7th generation.
Oh, yeah. This dog. The Setites are better people than these guys. Because at least the Setites, some of them believe that what they're doing is right. That by doing all this defilement and corruption, they're spiting the demiurge, they're spiting the worm, while unknowingly playing right into the worm's hands. You can redeem a Setite. You can show them that what they're doing isn't working, and that's where the Serpents of Light come into play. You can have heroes among the Setites. You can never have that with the 7th generation. Every single guy involved in that faction has made a conscious devil deal. There is no redeeming these bastards. You want to know what the name of the game is? Pedophilia and hatred. That's what they've based themselves off of.
Yep.
Just spreading misery for the sake of misery. Kyle, you've been watching the Boondocks. Do you remember the Hatocracy?
That part, I don't... Which episode was that? I don't know how...
There were Stinkmeaner's friends that tried to avenge his death.
Those... The M-word synthesis episode, as it were.
Yeah, and they were... And their entire thing was, we don't need a reason to fuck somebody's day up. That's just what we do.
Stinkmeaner was a man. But that don't mean we came for you just because of him. We came because we like to fuck shit up.
That's the 7th generation, dude. They're
here to eat
in a more comical way.
And be Dan Schneider.
You look like you stole something. Come over here.
Basically. Basically, all of your justification that you, the Garrow, are doing the right thing by existing.
Exactly, because... Dog, I kind of want to keep light on the content with the 7th generation, because some of that stuff legit turns my stomach reading about it.
As it should. They're the ultimate evil in the world.
Yeah, I really gotta tip your hat off to you, White Wolf. You made the most disgusting villain you've ever done.
Yeah, I don't think there is anything in fiction quite as evil as the 7th generation.
See, Bill Bridges and Daniel Greenberg are the guys responsible for making them. So, both of you tip your hats. You outdid yourselves. You outdid yourselves in evil.
You made the greatest villain in history.
Oh my god. We'll rant about them more in a minute. So, they come into New York. Polonia knows what they're doing, and he's okay with them coming in. Goes to show how good of a guy he is.
Yes.
And this is all to undermine Ekaterina's rule. He also invites the Setites into New York.
Oh, in case one group of fucking degenerates isn't bad enough, let's get another one in here just for good measure.
But on the bright side, these are the Setites that are more interested in selling and doing drugs than kids. So better by not, but not that much.
The lesser of two evils ain't lesser enough in this case.
Drugs are always great.
Drugs are always great. You need to start doing drugs. That's tomorrow or so episode. And
I wish.
So you start seeing degeneracy begin to form in New York City, and we start getting a little too carried away with it. We need a smoke screen. The Giovanni. Polonia looks over and sees all these greasy, fat, bald-headed Italians playing mafia games, and creates a little playground for them in New York City, in Brooklyn. And all that stuff with the gang wars, the fight between the gang families, the mafia, all that's a smokescreen. All of that was controlled opposition. It was just to get the Giovanni in front of the powers that be, the powers that could hunt down the Sabbat and kill them. Instead of, I don't know, the Sabbat doing the crimes themselves, getting found out for it, and then getting killed by hunters or werewolves or whoever was after them. But the Giovanni knew about that. They knew that they were there just for set dressing for the Sabbat. So what they do instead is that they slowly start doing the Ghostbuster protection racket. That's the best way to describe it.
Busting makes me feel good.
Now they've been doing that for years already in Venice and Sicily and wherever the mob operates in Italy, so the entirety of Italy. And they start doing the same racket in New York, where it's good. Nobody takes the Giovanni seriously. Nobody knows what the Giovanni is doing. Nobody knows that the Giovanni is collecting ghosts and specters so they can release them in mass in the material plane in the Skinlands, cause chaos, and then swoop in at the last minute, say that they're the only ones that can save them from the ghosts. And while the specters kill everyone around them, the Giovanni collects protection money and seize power for themselves, which, given how weak Augustus Giovanni is the closest way that they could have come to causing Gehenna. But then all of that went up in smoke, come to turn the century, and we're getting ahead of ourselves. And life finally becomes worse for everybody in 1953 when Blaise Karim gets sick of all the degeneracy and says, I am going to take all my men and I am leaving. He picks up all the Zamici, or at least the Zamici that are loyal to him, and leaves New York. He is found dead in 1977 at the hands of Bonars. And
A little cheaper now, never hurt nobody.
Yep, whether or not that was a good or bad thing is up to anybody's guess. But because he left in 1953, the Camarilla pour into New York City, led by one Jan Peterzoon, who realizes the mistake he made way back when in 1670, and decides that he's going to rectify it. He sends the best men he has to try to take New York City. They need that land. He sets up one, I think Michaela is her name, who is this Ventru Prince of... She's the Ventru Prince of New York, and she runs Wall Street, dude. You want to look at Wall Street? She's the one on top of it. And behold, she stole the money game out from underneath the Alhambra, which of course pisses off Polonia once he realizes what a fool he's been and how complacent he's been. But not only that, you've also got the Nosferatu, who swoop in and start Shreknet inside New York City, and behold, the biggest information network in the world, according to vampires at the very least, has been made. And we get another fun lore character in the form of Calebros, who of course is the Nosferatu with no lips. That's not his title, but that's what I'm calling him. He looks like this.
Johnny Tight Lips, who shot you? Nobody shot me. Well, tell the doctor. Tell him to suck a lemon.
He's kind of boring, actually. He's the very what you think of when you think of the Nosferatu of, I like being hidden, I like collecting books, I like being the smart guy. I'm the smart guy. He's kind of standard fare for Nosferatu, but at the same time, he's a good example as to what the Nosferatu are as a clan.
Honestly, I would play that guy just to go break the masquerade.
It's the masquerade.
Just a guy who's with no clan, just going around breaking the masquerade, popping into random places like, hey, and then disappearing.
People scream and run away. It was like, that went about as well as I thought.
Some of the weird junkies in New York City, you probably do have a guy that looks like that roaming around the street.
Probably. I don't think it'd be a masquerade preach at that point. You'd just be like another dude from Harlem or some shit.
He looks like a meth head. He smells like a meth head. Therefore, he must be a meth head.
Yep. Walks around with his teeth out like, hey, give me a drink, buddy.
And then the Tremere come back with a vengeance with one Ashley Sturbridge. Her name is spelled Aisling, so it's the weird Irish spelling. Who,
Ashley,
of course, she is the main character of the Tremere. We briefly mentioned her before. Who became successful by being in the right place at the right time over the course of decades. She got I don't think Aleister Crowley wasn't the guy who embraced her, but he's the reason why she got embraced. So she's really young by by Tremere standards. And she quickly ascended through the ranks and became a high regent, which is unheard of for somebody as young as her. She's only generation 10 and she's got this much power. Good Lord. It goes to show that if you bust your ass in Camarilla, rewards will come your way. And you might be thinking, well, what have the werewolves been doing all this time? Have the werewolves been trying to stop them? Yes! The Ecaterina have been trying to do everything possible to breach into New York City and try to wrestle power out of the hands of Sabbat, but the damn 7th generation have been doing everything they can to keep the Ecaterina out. Such as, I don't know, going to previous burial sites and finding Banes sealed away without their tenders, and just releasing the Bane and throwing him out into the Umbra, along with finding burial grounds, upsetting all the wraiths there, destroying their fetters, forcing them to turn into specters, and then releasing them into the Shadowlands. And, of course, by the time anybody realizes just how much damage the 7th generation is doing, it's a little bit too late. They're too deep in New York to be removed. You've got the Fianna and you've got the Gev Fenris chasing after these guys. It's still not enough. This is how fucking deadly the 7th generation are. You want to see these guys die, and it's just not possible because of how well connected they are. And it's spirit breaking for the Ecaterina, because at the same time, keep in mind, the Croatan are dead. The Croatan lived in that land, and now it's gone, and the 7th generation have gone into their cairns and turned them into Black Spiral Dancer cairns.
Turn them into hives.
Great. Those will eventually be retaken by the Gev Fenris and the Fianna, but, dealt damage is done, and the Gev Fenris aren't moving out. And the Fianna aren't either. Gotta point a dirty finger at both of you.
Yeah, well, at least we brought beer.
Can't be the Gev Fenris.
And while this is going on, keep in mind, this is now the 70s. You've got the Night of Iron Knives with Changeling that happens at the same time. You forgot about Changeling, right? Guess what? The Night of Iron Knives happens, and the Accordance War begins, and New York is a massive battleground for it. So you've got 3 different covert wars happening in this place at the same time. You see why this is just a little bit hokey, right?
Yeah,
because you think at least at some point some of these people would run into each other.
So does this make Travis Bickle an unseelie? No, he'd be Shadow Court.
It could, but at the same time, you've also got mages. You've got mages.
Fuck, there's more.
In Chinatown, you've got the Akashic Brotherhood and Cult of Ecstasy trying to establish a base here. But at least these guys, they're mentioned fighting the 7th generation, so at least you've got an ally. But at the same time, that's 2 mage generations fighting against the 7th generation. That goes to show just how damn scary they are. If you've got 2 mage conventions and they still can't push the 7th generation out.
Do I need to say that?
But wait, there's more. You've got Wraith the Oblivion with a massive necropolis in New York City, and all the Grim Legion. All the Grim Legionnaires want to come around here and start shit. Because of all the gang warfare deaths that happen around this time. So now you've got the Grim Legion going around. Of course, they're the most reasonable of all the wraiths, causing chaos because the Grim Legion is so horribly mismanaged.
Yeah, New York's a fucking mess. I could see why you went in the direction you did with it.
Yeah, because I looked at this. We ran New York as a setting. I looked at all of this and I said, I can't do all this shit. This is getting too crazy. So I just tossed out the Wraith angle, tossed out the most of the mage angle. We kept 1 mage at the very least. We kept Freya Sanders. And
well, Freya turned out to be one of the best parts of the campaign.
Plot reasons, right? Plot reasons.
She was very fun to play as. She ended up becoming Grimm's wife by the end of it.
Yep.
And we went all in on the vampire and werewolf part, but I wanted to make my own coterie too, so we had this place be majority Camarilla controlled when I ran it.
Yeah.
So if you want to run New York City, please try to sort this out the best you can, because this is just a mess.
Yeah, don't try to throw everything in the entire book at it. You're probably better off like taking bits and pieces of each one that you like and trying to sort it into a reasonable plot line. Kind of like what I'm going to wind up doing with Appalachia.
Exactly. But how does the story end, you may be asking me? Well, I'm glad you asked, because in 1999, this war, at least on the vampire front, reached a head with Ecaterina's assassination, which definitely did not involve Polonia at all. Her assassination, quote unquote, happened around 1969. I'm sorry, I left that detail out. But it was incomplete. She went into torpor instead of final death. And I'm pretty sure the implication is, thanks to the action of your player characters, she survives and wakes up after the Week of Nightmares, hoping to reclaim the city that she got whisked away from her by Polonia. I fucked that sentence up. That was stolen from her by Polonia. So Polonia is calling the shots on by himself. And he realizes very quickly just how hard it is to lead, especially when you're in a city that's in the middle of an underground war. So he ends up in a final battle with Michaela, and he wins the duel. He beheads her. But by that point, the Sabbat had lost way too much ground, way too quickly, and losses had to be cut. He had to leave with what men he still had for cities down south, and would eventually find a little space for himself around Pennsylvania, where he's just stewing, nursing his injuries, waiting to take back New York City. And as of 2005, the Camarilla have finally settled a majority in New York City. And now the city is mostly Camarilla, but you still have the 7th generation. You've got the occasional Sabbat that invades. You've got the occasional Anarch that just pops up out of nowhere because the Anarchs say turn of the millennia, it's their time to rule. And you've also got the Setites still there, and the Giovanni are still there, even though they've got Gotti, and the Giovanni don't nearly have as much power as they used to. But there are a lot of Italians in New York City. So where there are Italians, there will be Giovanni. I'm so glad I get to live next to Ray's Famous Pizza. I sure hope there's not another identical Ray's Famous Pizza 4 blocks down the road.
Yeah, and then they have they both have the same picture of the same celebrity that happened to confuse the two spots and eat there on different days. Of all the places in New York, he came to my store.
And that is the mess that is...
Rage Across New York.
That is New York City.
Rage Across New York by night.
The Dreaming.
Yeah.
and of course, the Corns War... And of course, the Corns War would come to an end with High King David finding Caliber in the subway tunnels of New York City, ending the Corns War in a peace treaty. And you've also got, let's count our fingers. You've got all the vampire factions, all the werewolves, the Akashic Brotherhood, the Occult of Ecstasy, the Tenarcracy, with Iteration X and the Syndicate being the big ones. Then the Nafandi, the Marauders, the Wraiths of Stygia, the
Grim Legion,
the Changelings of both Commoner and She Houses. You've also got Kindred of the East, Mummy the Resurrection, Hunter the Reckoning, and Demon the Fallen having events in the city. So
the city's so nice they named it twice.
If you want to run a game here, you gotta filter this, because oh my god, this is a mess. This is such a mess.
Fucking much. However, this also creates an opportunity where that your players will never be lacking with things to do, because how I anticipated Rage Across New York at the very start to be very straightforward, werewolves fight Pentex sort of thing, given the general tone of the first 2 episodes. But then when the Antediluvians came into play, that became an all versus Malkav sort of deal as a sequel to the playthrough that none shall ever see.
That you will never see.
But the enough elements were there for Johnny to put a little bit of everything in there. The only thing I am a little bit more disappointed about is that Pentex didn't get like a bigger time to be the bad guy. I mean, it's hard to
get that with...
What's up?
you're going to get that with Russia.
Yeah, I imagine that, but still, I feel like it would have been like more. It would have been no offense to you, because like I had a fantastic time in New York. I think it would have been a
Right.
little bit more grandiose if you had, Pentex first teams fighting the Garrow, fighting the hordes of the Malkavian ghouls. That would have been fucking incredible to see on the ground play out.
Which is why I realized that I started getting a little bit spread too thin with villains, and I said, okay, we gotta have the villains fight each other, which is the only way I can really get rid of these villains without it coming off as an ass pull. So you had Ruslan Maximov going behind the scenes, handling those Pentex teams for you, so you could not fight him later down the road, and then Vigo Corinth would later clean up that mess. So,
Thank you, Vigo.
yeah, granted, if you did fight Ruslan, that probably would have resulted in a player character death.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like self-preservation was very high on our list of things to do.
See,
Yeah,
I made a Final Four for him, and I never did get to use it.
Oh, for Ruslan or for Vigo?
Yeah, for Ruslan.
I thought. Oh, there was a third part of it.
Yeah. Here he is.
Looks like
Yep.
Spartan armor. No, he looks like Junie Cortez in Knight's armor from fucking Spy Kids 3.
Yeah, that was the final suit of armor that he was going to have, but Vigo got to him before he could put him in that.
It's the Iron Man version of Ruslan.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is. Little red on there.
Where he finds an Iteration X suit and then he hops into it.
Yeah, Mark 43.
Yep.
Imagine him fighting with his usual stats and hit marker stats.
Oh, dude, that'd be a fucking pain.
With AI assistance.
He could have been a final boss if he'd have survived.
Yeah, if Vigo didn't get to him before you did, he would have been able to take on the entire pack of Geru by himself, and he would have won.
Yeah.
I could have handled him.
If we decided to if the game lasted longer and Ruslan would have lived long enough to do that, that would have been like a weird moment where like, okay, Vigo's standing right there. We're all over here. We see the big fuck off dude in the golden suit of armor. He might be a bigger threat than we are to each other.
Yeah.
And then we have that weird moment. It's like, okay, we killed him. He's dead. Were you still trying to kill us? I don't know. Am I at this point?
Because after all, Vigo never did reveal what he was doing.
No,
He always kept his cards close to his chest.
Yeah, he did. Well, we all knew that he wanted to diablerize Malkav. Whether it was possible or not, we probably won't know. But we do know that all he really wants is power. He's made that very, very clear.
And in terms of places of power, yeah, here's a beautiful segue for you.
Yes.
This is going to get worse with every episode. Ryan, can we go into detail about the cairns? The cairns and the protectorates. Yeah, those little protectorates I sent you, like North County and Catskills.
Yeah, there's what, 4?
Now don't go super in detail with this one. Like probably like the first paragraph would be enough.
All right. Well, I'll read off what I wrote down for at least the North County because I got distracted.
Let's see, North County. Yeah, we were talking about probably shouldn't talk about this on air.
Yeah. North Country's area was torn with bloodshed as the Geta Fenris, Red Talons, and Wendigo all fight over the cairn of the Sentinel, which is continuing an age-old tradition dating back to the Revolutionary War. It's like you said, it's wars within wars in New York.
Yeah, in case you're wondering what North County country is supposed to be, it is Watertown and Plattsburgh.
Yeah, I completely skipped over that part.
Nobody lives in those towns anyway. Don't worry about it.
So those 3 aren't the only ones who are inhabiting this area. You also have the Sarnak Stranglers, the Black Axes, Worm Spirits, and Black Spiral Dancers. They all inhabited the area as well. The Black Spiral Dancers are far beneath the mountains. I can't
As they
talk
should
and
be.
listen to that at the same time. Yes, as they should be.
You cram down there where you belong. I did not mean
The
to double paste that image.
worm spirits can be found in the gorges. The black axes are holed up near the Black River, while the Sarnak stranglers are near the Sarnak River.
The Sarlacc stranglers, right?
Yeah, the Sarlacc, Star Wars up in this bitch. The Getafeners claim the Sarnak River, and they constantly fight with the Stranglers for use of it.
And so, yeah, it's a bit of a shithole, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Let's see. And what lives there? Let's see. We got a fun little monster.
Chappie.
We got a fun little monster that lives there. It looks like this.
Champy.
What the hell is even that?
It's
Yeah.
similar to the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, there he is.
It's only sighted occasionally, and its proof of its existence is still wanting. It is, in fact, one of the great beasts. It sometimes swims from the Umbral Glen into the physical lake, where it can be seen by humans.
So that's not creepy at all, is it?
It looks
I'll
like it
play
wants
as
a
Colt
hug.
so I can shoot it with a grenade launcher.
And it sings you a song before it eats you. And let's see, what's next? The Catskill Mountains, the most magical place in all of New York City.
Yes.
Which, of course, you know the mountain range, but at
It's
this point, you know what we're talking about.
The homage view Catskill primarily as a resort and hunting area. The Geru know the Catskills to be a place of power, dominated by an enclave of fairies. The fairies do not usually menace Geru as long as the Geru stay far from their territory, which is near Woodstock. That explains so much.
Exactly. This is your changing the dreaming connection.
Well, I was mainly talking about Woodstock and how that huge party turned out. Anyway.
Oh, wait. Woodstock
Sex, a lot
99?
of drugs.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as the greatest music festival of all time.
You had the Red Hot Chili Peppers up on stage singing Fire while the people were ripping the amplifiers off, setting them on fire in the crowd.
And Flea was butt-ass naked.
I went to the 20th or 50th anniversary of Woodstock recently.
Yep.
Not recently.
There it is.
Let me stand next to your fire.
You got zoom in on that fairy, by the way. That in the little picture.
Yep.
It's a little magical image, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a little pixie in front of you. Now, who lives here?
A few Garo live in the Catskills. A strange stargazer operates an observatory on the highest peaks. And once in a Werewolf hosts a stargazer revel. Silent Shires also maintain a meeting site down in the Hudson River Valley. No one can say why the two most reclusive Garo tribes are drawn to the area, but it may have to do with the abundant fairy magics there. That makes sense. To be fair. Let's see. Blood Rover Pack ranges freely through the territory, sometimes heading to New York City.
Yes.
And the Fianna.
Yeah.
Or the lower
Fianna.
Hudson area.
I mean, of course, right? Of course.
Well, yeah.
Strangely enough, they're away from the domain of fairies, though.
Yeah, that part doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's we love you, Fianna, but we love you at this distance.
Yeah.
Just that's your space. That's our space. You come over. You sometimes just get a little bit too frisky with our changeling women. You gotta stay. Holy fuck!
Like I said, I understand we're not allowed to fuck inside the cairn, but we can fuck outside the cairn, which is why we have the spot to meet in the middle. That's why we did that.
Here. Holy fuck! Discord rubber banded for me.
Get it?
Yeah, it's been on the
so-
fritz lately. I don't know what's going on with it today.
Yeah, the site sucks. Let's do an entire episode on Roll20. That'll be some good audio quality.
Did it sound like fucking Xbox Live in 2007?
Let's go over the Viagra Protectorate.
What?
The Viagra Protectorate.
I thought you said Viagra for a sec.
I thought so too.
That's just Trojan. What are you talking
Weird.
about?
You guys are just horny. You're putting words in my mouth.
Oh, you're talking about Niagara, as in Niagara
Yes.
Falls.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you
Yeah,
said.
I don't know what
okay.
you were talking about.
Yeah, put the thing in so I can put it up on a screen there.
Yep.
Uh,
All right.
Just throw
All
it at me,
right.
buddy.
Here you go. Here's your page.
Sorry.
So, no, I'm not
didn't
putting that
realize
Made by your friendly neighborhood Magadon there.
You're not wrong.
There you go. Okay, Niagara Protectorate.
This area is dominated mainly by looks like a tenna.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got this story from Dan Aykroyd here. He said there was a Native American tribe that lived at the base of Niagara Falls, and they were fat because you had so many animals that would fall to their deaths off of Niagara Falls, and they would just take the body and eat it. There was no food shortage.
There was.
I mean, that makes sense.
What?
Yeah, dumbass animals would just walk into the river, not get out, fall to their deaths, and then the Native Americans would drag them out and eat them.
Oh, that's funny.
Exactly.
What's for dinner
And
tonight?
See,
Deer, it
whatever
looks
just falls from the waterfall.
Praise
the
be
basket
to the
ready, we'll
water
catch it.
gods. All you got to do is you do a dance around the waterfall, and your meal shows up. That's great. I'll be a part of that
Exactly.
tribe.
And you've got Ages of the Worm trying to run this place to the ground, and you've got the tourist attraction here, so it's a little bit hard to antenna in this area anymore. So,
It looks like it's tended by a sept, mainly Octana and Fiona.
very rare moment of the Ectena and Fiona getting along.
Right?
Very, very rare indeed. Let's talk about the Finger Lakes.
The Finger Lakes. This area is one of the most mysterious places on the East Coast, and it is the holiest place in New York. The beautiful region is blessed by 5 deep blue lakes.
That look like fingers.
Yeah, they're called the Finger Lakes.
Yeah, I wonder
That
what
makes
they call the
sense.
Finger Lakes.
It's huge. I had no idea.
This is how much land you're covering, by the way.
Yeah. The Geru say that the lakes are areas where Gaia reached down and scooped the worm out of the land. Since then, the area has had a mystical nature. It has always attracted spiritual people. Some just came for power, and many stayed to do Gaia's work. It's not on this one. It's going to be on this one.
And thankfully, you don't have too much fucked up shit going on here.
It looks like there was it was part of the underground railroad at one point.
Yes. Along with the Hand of Gaia having some skin in the game here, the Wendigo, the Ectena, and when they were alive, the Croatan.
Yep. I just got
And now
to
you've got your favorite tribe here instead, Ryan.
that. My favorite children of Gaia.
Yeah. The Children of Gaia.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're there too.
Yep.
As well as the Black Furies.
They're the fucking hippies.
It looks like a shrine of the Wendigo Ectena Croton came under heavy assault by Invader Worm minions and the Black Spiral Dancers. So they're in there as well.
So from the size of it, it sounds like the Black Spiral Dancers are just everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, there's a map that shows the pollution.
Yeah, here's your
in
map.
There are so many fucking toxic
Shitholes.
waysides. Yeah. toxic waste sites in this area.
Yeah, there's a fucking
So,
lot.
look at the, yeah, we
There's
got,
one
now,
next to a park up at the top, Bronx Park.
now, when me and Ryan were looking at this before, we said that there's a. When you look at this, you would assume that the entirety of New York is werewolf controlled, but as we just discussed, that's not the case.
No, there's a
Instead, you've
lot of work to do.
and the guy who made the vampire book. Tell me you've never been to New York without telling me you've never been to New York, because some of the territories in this just don't make sense. Because
Yeah.
according to him, the Assamites control the Bronx, where I don't know about that dude.
You got your best assassins there.
It feels like you literally took a dart with one of every vampire clan on it, and you just threw it at a map of New York and said that clan's there, that clan's there, that clan's there, because it doesn't matter. It's just like you just shotgun blasted all the different clans there, and boom, whatever. There's your vampire map. So just know that the majority of vampires that are in this area are Bruja, Assamite, La Sombra, Zimichi, and the occasional Serpent of Light, Setite, Giovanni, Ventru, and Tremere. And of course, you've got Nosferatu everywhere, but the Nosferatu don't want you knowing that.
Sure.
And the fun thing about this, Kyle, let's go ahead and let's talk about the 7th generation. Let's get them out of the way.
Oh boy.
All right, so as we talked about, this is a entire worm cult dedicated to fucking kids. Beautiful, right? We're off to a great start.
Yeah, you should.
But
yeah.
Yeah, but hold on, it gets worse. I could have made these guys the villain of Red Cross New York the way we ran it, but the game was just going to turn into The Sound of Freedom if I did that.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
I mean, literally, it would just be
I
The
mean,
Sound of Freedom.
We could do
game.
Rage Across New York Part 2, where, like, you know, then Pentax tries to move in after they see that Malkev's gone. We did a hint at that in
Children
Sylvester's
are not for
episode.
sale, or however that song goes.
But no, I mean, think about it. That'd be kind of sick. It's like our existing, it's like some of the pack, and then Ryan would probably have to get a new character because Grimm's over in fucking Romania or wherever it is.
Well, I could do that, but I'm already making my Hunter the Reckoning game on Fridays about hunting and killing pedophiles.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you don't need too
so
many
so
of those. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm already doing it. I'm already doing that. I mean,
You're
I
already doing the Sound of
create
Freedom.
maker's paper for myself.
Yep.
And also, fuck anybody who's trying to like push legislation for pedophilia and try to make it legal.
Yeah, just kill them.
Where
Drag them out in the street and kill them.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the pages for 7th generation. You remember that fucking "Will Convert Your Children" musical number? And
Oh, yeah,
it
that
turned out
one?
that like 5 or 6 people in that choir were actually convicted pedophiles.
That,
What is
you can
wrong
tell me
with people?
You can tell me you were joking all you want, and you just blew the cover on that joke by having criminal records and blue
good
squares.
fucking lord.
Oh my god!
This is why I
mean,
say an armed society is a polite society, because a society like
Like,
that wouldn't let these people live, because they don't deserve it.
I'm ranting already, but there's a difference between being gay and fucking little boys. I mean, when you see a child, you don't think I'm going to have sex with that. You don't think that. You want to protect and nurture the kid. So this is a learned behavior. Where the fuck you learned this from? Where the apple started from the tree? I don't know. I don't know when this change started, but it's not normal to fucking think like this.
The youth Thanatos is creeping up in me once again.
Right, you are genuinely diseased, and you need to be in prison for doing this shit.
The only cure for it,
All right.
45 automatic Colt pistol.
Okay, I have the pages in my hands now. Okay. So there are 5 doctrines to the 7th generation. The first one, assault the innocent. You can already guess what that's going for. Second, strangle trust. Third, keep secrets. Fourth, turn the victims into victimizers. And fifth, kill all hope. Those are the 5 tenets of the 7th generation. And they do this by getting involved in, I don't know, everything. This is proto-Pentex. The 7th generation still exists in the modern day world of darkness, but they are well and truly on their way out because the 7th generation has blown their cover. Operatives are dying every day, and it's easier and more of a long-term plan to do Pentex instead of the 7th generation. So there's still followers of the worm that do this, and they're considered to be a special kind of evil to the point where Pentex themselves don't want to associate with them.
That's kind of funny to think about. It's like, yeah, we're supposed to be the incarnation of evil itself, depleting the world's resources and destroying all that humanity holds dear, but good fucking lord.
At the same time, every single member of the 7th generation is deadly as hell, because these are humans that have mutated from the worm in productive ways. They're not horribly disfigured. They have gifts, dude. And they just seemingly never age and never die.
Time to start making a couple of them die now, doesn't it?
Yeah. You've got multiple casts. You've got the government cast where, take a wild guess, I don't know, Epstein Island, Bohemian Grove, ordering 800 hot dogs for a party. You of course you know what hot dogs is code for, right?
Chocolate starfish and a hot dog flavored water.
Can't say that.
Can't say that you do, Ryan?
No.
Male prostitutes, that's what it's code for. Yeah, not necessarily kids, they can be adults too, but you know.
Even still, it's fucked up.
And this is led by one Arnold F. Ambulant, a guy who's got 3 different chins, and a 4th one that's been surgically implanted and jutting out from all the others.
3 different chins.
Yeah, he's very slimy. He's got an appearance stat of 1. Manipulation, wits, and intelligence 5, on the other hand. He knows all the right things to say. Allies 5, contacts 5, resources 5. This guy's got connections with everybody. Pull up the Meat Canyon Willy Wonka video. That's this guy.
Ew.
Yep. He invites you to his chocolate factory and then asks you for a massage.
I don't know. I don't know if Wits can do anything against me shooting him in the face.
Exactly. But this guy has gifts, by the way. None of them are that good in terms of combat. He does have Paralyzing Stare, but at the same time, you need to bomb the check for that to be useful. And, well, name a branch of government. This guy has a connection in it. And it's because he's doing... This dude is literally Jeffrey Epstein, like 20 years before that became a thing. Before that was exposed, I mean, that was going on at the time that this was written, but this dude is literally just
somebody
Jeffrey
had some
Epstein.
foresight.
He literally is just him.
I'm thinking I want to murder right now, bruh.
Okay, well, I guess according to the current meta plot, thanks to current events, he is already dead.
Oh, that's good. Somebody did the job for us.
Yeah, I guess so. Of course, that's glory renown that you won't be getting.
I don't care. Whoever it is, I'll buy them a drink.
Let's see. Next up, it is the business cast. We're just guess about, I don't know, any shady business practice. I don't know, Walton Group, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, George Soros, name your billionaire.
As Warren Buffett once put it, there's class warfare, all right, but it's my class that's making all the war, and we're winning.
But like I said, this is proto-Pentex, so these are the guys that are telling everybody how to make money in the worst way possible. This is led by one Chester R. Van Gelding, a guy with a chin with a deeper cleft than Joe Biden's, no lips, crazy eyes, and even crazier hair. His stats, let's see, he has got no 5s in anything besides stamina for some reason. So if you shoot this guy, he just won't die. Along with 4 in alertness, 4 in brawl, and 4 in dodge. So this guy's got hands, actually.
Yeah, he does. I don't know.
And
I think he won't have hands if I rip his head off.
It's going to take a while to kill him, too, because he's got 10 points of permanent willpower.
Jesus.
What the fuck?
How the hell do you get that?
Why?
by being alive for years and years. This guy's been alive since the Dutch Indian Company.
Oh, so he was a grade A bastard.
And he is such a devout and great servant to the worm. The worm refuses to let him die. The worm just says, no, this guy has to be around for my plans to work. To the point where Fomori, Banes, and BSDs will swarm an area if this guy's life is in jeopardy. He is the most protected member of the worm's cult.
I didn't think the worm gave that much of a shit about anything.
But he is not the richest man in the world because he will never be as rich as the Syndicate. Though he can copy their business practices and then pass them off as his own. And who's next? The medical cast, where just name any medical fraud that has happened within the last 10 years, and you automatically know what these guys are about. We're not going to name names because we don't want this video being taken down like the fucking Pentex
like the
one did.
Magadon video.
I'm still pissed about that.
That was pretty scummy.
We're talking about a fictitious company, and you think we're talking about a real company.
I mean, the parallels are uncanny, let's be real.
It is led by one Dr. Guter Dragerunter, who is doing everything that Roger Ailes tried to stop by just passing off bullshit medicine as legitimate. All those airborne tablets you've been taking, completely useless. It's because it's packed with so much vitamin C, your body isn't fully processing it, and you're pissing out that vitamin C instead of actually taking it in.
I don't know, it seems to work for me.
What you need to do is need to eat fucking fruit. That's what you need to do.
I drink about a gallon of orange juice to get the same effect.
Just buy a grapefruit and just eat the grapefruit.
Grapefruit tastes like shit, though. Have you ever
That's
had
all you gotta
grapefruit?
do. Yes.
Yeah, it tastes
I
disgusting.
hate grapefruit. I love grapefruit juice.
Yeah.
Grapefruit.
It was,
See, we'll buy Grim a pack of Squirt next time we see him.
there was like a joke about God making fruit, and he went, another citrus. Like a lemon? Bigger. A lime, perhaps. I said bigger. And health and, sweeter too? No, make it taste like battery acid and shards. And poisonous so they don't eat it? No, make it the healthiest one.
In terms of who leads the medical cast, Dr. Dragoretter is a man with charisma stat 1, appearance 1. He is so grotesquely fat that he looks like a sphere. He's got neck folds that are holding like colonies of bacteria in them, with a tongue that's sheet white covered in fungus, and a beard that goes all the way down to his gut. And his head is constantly covered in a thin layer of yellow grease. This man is super fucking unhealthy, and yet he comes out and he tells you what to do with your body. He is also, like, in terms of his list of crimes, he has his own TV show where he gives medical advice that nobody really takes seriously, but it pisses people off, and so they keep watching it. It's a ratings trap. And he is so good at pissing people off that his show just never gets taken off air, because, ratings by the end of the day. But this man is so hated, not even other members of the 7th generation can stand to be around him.
That's kind of funny.
But the thing is, this guy is super devout to the worm. He might be a Nafandi. This guy might have legit magic. Which is why nobody has managed to kill him. Though he does have some people conspiring against him. First of all, he's got a brother, Tainan, who just can't wait for him to die. But second, his own security. This guy has a high elite Pentex first team defending him, but his downfall might come from his right-hand man, one Echo Anderjager. Awesome name, right?
Yes.
Now this dude can kick some ass. 4 strength, 4 dexterity, 4 stamina, 3 alertness, 4 brawl, 3 dodge, 4 intimidation, 5 subterfuge, 2 firearms.
That dude's
Just for
fucking
some of his
busted. Jesus.
He's still a human by the end of the day, but this dude has got the skills to go toe-to-toe with somebody like Grimm and survive the encounter. You know what else is fun?
What?
He's got sense pain he's got resist pain as a gift.
Nice. That's a good gift.
So you can shoot Andrew Yeager in the head and he will survive it. That
With
kind of
what
stuff.
caliber?
with the 45 caliber, and he'll survive the shot.
I need a bigger gun.
The thing is, Echo is so sick of working for Dragon Runter that the minute he gets the chance to turn the knife on him and it successfully kills him, he will take it. This guy is instrumental in the little campaign in this book in killing Dragon Runter. So, he's still a villain at the end of the day. He will aid your Geru pack in taking him down, but he will immediately turn on you after the fact. And who's next? The Snatchers. The people who are kidnapping the kids for the Lolita Express. And that's where I'm going to leave it with that, because I'm not going to go into detail with that.
I don't think any detail needs to go with that.
We got Lord Ackbright, a fake southerner with these giant John Lennon glasses, slicked back hair, who's obsessed with wearing white and cleanliness, who does the most disgusting thing of luring in kids, like with the van and everything, pulling them in, and then selling them off to the highest bidder. So, it's the irony. A guy obsessed with cleanliness doing the most disgusting thing in the entirety of the Seventh Generation. Now, you might be wondering, what's stopping you from killing these guys? The Warriors. As in, the strongest humans that the worm has to offer. Led by one Jeffrey Maudlin, who is a relatively handsome man, by the way. He's got an appearance stat of 4.
Warriors.
And if you thought Echo was strong, wait until I tell you this. Maudlin, strength 5, dexterity 4, stamina 5, alertness 4, brawl 5, dodge 5, intimidation 5, firearms 3, leadership 4, melee 5, enigmas 5, law 2, occult 5.
What the fuck?
Allies 5, contacts 5, resources 5, gifts that include but are not limited to resist pain, body rack, obedience, sense the true form, spirit of the fray, coup de grace, and might of Thor.
How the fuck?
This guy
This
can
is
kill
a
a werewolf.
human?
This is a human, and he has the power of the worm to kill a Geru in one punch.
Jesus fucking Christ. We should stick Vigo on him.
And he's still human by the end of the day.
That's wild.
Now, but the thing is, who is Maudlin? He is a Canadian veteran who served in World War II that went insane after seeing what the Nazis did in World War II. His mind broke, and he joined the Seventh Generation just as a job at first until the worm fully corrupted him. And now he is the worm's strongest human. Now, granted, this man wants to die. His entire bravado, his arrogance, that's all facade. This man is deeply broken on the inside, waiting for somebody to put him out of his misery.
I mean, that's the curse of the worm. It'll give you incredible power, but you won't want to live anymore.
Exactly. This guy is living in pain. And
Gotta say,
those
I
are the
gotta
faces of the
take
Seventh
back
Generation.
What's up?
You're
I
saying,
take
Ryan?
back something. I said that's wild and that's wrong.
It's worm.
Yeah, that's wrong.
All right, so that's the colorful cast of characters you got working with the Seventh Generation. Now let's watch the taste out of our mouth with some of the good guys.
Yes. We got quite a few to talk about.
Now, some of these guys kind of suck, which is why I didn't include that many of them in Rage Across New York. There is one character in here that I did carry over. Let's see if you can identify him, Kyle.
I did, and I'm actually going to talk about him. We are going to talk about Bone Juice. And reading what he actually was supposed to be, I feel like he could have been a bigger part of this.
No, he still was. I had Ryan play him, and I was waiting for you to read this so you can realize, oh my god, we talked with this guy?
Yeah. Gifts, cooking, smell of man, the falling touch, and razor claws. He's a Hamid Arun. Raid 7, Gnosis 2, willpower 4. Not exactly pretty looking. Can throw hands and can shrug off a few blows, though. Only a rank 1. has a fetish that's a level 1 fetish, and it's a battered milk carton with pictures of missing children on it. When activated, the cartoon shows the location of the person the fetish holder is thinking of. Note, Bone Juice hides this fetish from others as he is planning to use it to find his meals. And I love the fact that like he's a hyena. Like his his Krynos form is meant to make him look like a hyena. He hates everybody, but the background, he, was growing up starving as, a bone gnawer on the street. Why should he starve in the midst of 8 million succulent, fat, domesticated animals that are just waiting for him to scarf down their tender flesh? His fellow bone gnawers are horrified at his plan to eat homids and have sworn to take a hard line with him to make him stop. He's backed off but is gathering adherents, but he's a poor leader. The bone gnawers knew that he did this. Yep. He's a kid. I'm wondering how he hasn't been baned.
They knew he did this. And Ryan, you played as him when we did Rage Across New York, and you spoke so casually when you were playing as him that we had no idea who we were talking to the entire time.
No.
That's because I butcher almost every characters I play.
I intentionally didn't tell you what he was supposed to be. So you played it off super well, unknowingly, where you're talking to a guy that is fucked up and you didn't know it. So, talking with Ted Bundy was pretty much what that conversation was.
Good fucking Lord. I feel like also, he should have been a bigger part of the story given what he's capable of.
Now, original stuff I was playing with him, I was planning on making him Elmira's ex-boyfriend.
Oh, God.
Yep. And second of all, his name, is it just me or does it sound kind of sexual?
I mean, it does, yeah. It's
hey,
pretty gross.
Baby, let me give you some of the bone juice.
Oh, I don't want to think about that.
We changed this guy around to where he's like a serial public masturbator instead.
That's disgusting. Oh, man. Now,
you know what's called? But a bunch of bone gnawers in a car doing that? It's called Soup Kitchen. They left a little note for you, too.
Shut the fuck up, John.
Thanks for the F Shack. Signed Bone Juice and the boys.
Oh, man. That's fucked.
So this is a Subway.
It's the Brooklyn Subway. Nobody gives a shit. Oh, man.
I'm gonna take the flame pills. You go on with the next character.
All right.
That works. But I was mainly talking about the food restaurant.
The children of Gaia, they had 2 characters that weren't all that interesting. Riordan Cliffgare's the Fianna, he's all right. The Get Ephemeris, however, the 3 characters written about in the book have a story so unfathomably good, I have to say the whole story. And it starts with Arnguth Stormbright, who is this grizzled old motherfucker right here.
Now, that's a sick character design.
Yeah, but not just that. His story as, this tragic badass and his just fucked life is so incredible. So, he's a tense, stoic guy. He doesn't talk to anybody because he thinks that any wrong word could, land you in a heap of trouble. He's suspicious, he's doubtful, he's so slightly scared, and he's angry. He claims to be the reincarnation of the great Stormbright of Norway, who crushed an invading worm sea serpent in days of Eric the Red. And he leads his wild berserkers in remorseless guerrilla raids on Pentex's northern companies. He's lost a lot of his tribe, but he refuses to relent, and some people say that he's even suicidal over the defection of his former lieutenant, Bladetooth. But Bladetooth was his lover, and she fled to give birth to 2 Metis twins. The male Metis, Aeschylus, now leads a pack of skinheads called the Bastards of Fenris in New York. Stormbright's afraid to take up action because he saw Aeschylus and he was so struck by the resemblance to him that he's absolutely certain that it's his son. And everyone else, rejected, and he rejects his counselor's suggestions that they secretly manipulate the bastards. but he also refuses to go in and actually fight them. And he is just left absolutely hamstrung by the fact that his bastard son, who I'll show you on this page right over here, pretty motherfucker with a nice little tattoo and hate literally branded onto his forehead.
Yep.
And he's a
skinhead.
Philodox, too. That's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, Swords of Heimdall.
Yeah, he's an actual Sword of Heimdall.
So this is what happens when the Get Fenris get a little bit too wrapped up in their nationalism.
Exactly.
It's a slippery slope. We talked about that with the Get Fenris episode, where the Get Fenris just get shat on after World War II in that Swords of Heimdall incident. Even though they clean up their mess, they still get the accusation of being Nazis. So some of them say, you want to keep calling me that? Then fuck it. I am what you say.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened to Aeschylus. Meanwhile, his mother, Bladetooth, Stormbringer's lover, she's filled with sorrow and regret and shame, but he has a newfound devotion to protecting Homage after what she had to go through giving birth to Aeschylus. And she served the Get Ephemeris with courage and distinction until she fell in love with Stormbright. The Black Furies harbored her and raised her pups, Aeschylus and Antigone, and she considered herself an outcast from her own people. But because the Get don't know she had met as pups, they saw her defection as a betrayal. Aeschylus fled the Black Furies and rebelled against his parents by leading the skinheads. Antigone fled and has never been seen since. It's just I can't help but stress how tragic of a story that is. Like, you've got a proud Get Ephemeris warrior who's up in his years, but just racked with the pain of what he'd brought upon his so-called birthright, upon his family line, falling in love with somebody who was just such an incredibly capable warrior, and then bringing shame to his family name by giving birth to just this absolute bastard of a human being. It's such an incredible story.
3 different deconstructions of the Get Ephemeris. And keep in mind, Aeschylus is not a general representation of the Get Ephemeris. Get out of here with your postmodern bullshit.
No.
We just clearly established in this story that he is in the wrong for doing this.
Yes, very much so. There's a reason that the Get killed all the Swords of Heimdall. The Get pride strength and glory, not, bullshit like racial purity, that sort of thing.
And what you just said, at some point, Stormbright is either going to have to kill Aeschylus by himself or order somebody to do it for him.
More than likely, by that time, Stormbright will probably fall into Hirano after it comes to light what he's done.
You gotta let that sink in. Like, if your son was doing this, would you be able to sign his death his death
warrant? Yeah,
his death warrant. Or would you be the one to do it yourself? And could you stomach doing that?
Like, those 3 characters make one of the most beautifully tragic stories that I have seen in the World of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And
I could have done it, but at the same time,
that would have just made the story entirely about them. That's the only criticism, is they're a little too well written.
Yeah, it's that you've got to have like a small chronicle or story arc entirely dedicated to this.
Yes. Yeah. So, fantastically written, incredibly well written, but it's just a little too well written to fit into a game of Rage Across New York. In order to pick up the mood a little bit, I wanted to talk about this guy because I am, a hardline, Silent Strider simp. I need to talk about Sekhmet. Sekhmet. This handsome bastard right here. He's a lupus.
Before you continue.
What's up?
Before you continue, our good friend Porter with Rage Across the Internet is obsessed with this character.
Oh, Sekhmet?
And yeah, I honestly can't blame you for it. At the same time, it does kind of raise the question for me of is there a way you could probably fall a little bit too much in love with the character in these books, because the way he talked about him back when I was cordial with Porter is that it started sounding like he was like a DNPC. So he's cool, but don't use him too much.
But yeah, I know. The
Just,
reason I wanted to talk about him is because he just seems like a decent guy. He's a lupus philodox, relatively strong, pretty, well rugged, nice looking, very intelligent, very charismatic. Allies 1, contacts 3, resources 1. He's a rank 2, no rights or fetishes, and he's light brown fur with black leopard spots, long angular face, wears earrings. Just, a young, handsome guy, smile energetic and jovial. Well, jovial for a silent strider. He likes to revel with the Fianna. He doesn't like to stew in all the mystery and depth of the silent striders. And he's bright and friendly. He doesn't mind making light of himself. He doesn't mind, making people feel better.
He frequents the gay bar. He orders martinis and mimosas.
He always returns to New York, and he has a lot of friends among the young Garrow and the New York counterculture art scene. He likes hanging out and partying with the Fianna because they're a lot of fun to be around. And
he's got a favorite stripper, Gay Tony. He wears
shut the fuck up. I will say though, he is also a capable silent strider, as he is uncovered a lot of the 7th generation Snatcher case than most other Garrow. And it has made him very wary of the city of New York, but it does show that even though he is a very, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed kind of dude, he does take his job very seriously, and he has uncovered enough to help the investigation of the 7th generation. Just a decent guy all around. I like him.
And up above him is the most depressed of all the Silent Striders.
Yes, the Nephith. I can't fucking speak.
Egyptian.
Yeah. Yes. What? I'm sorry. Yep. Yeah, so she sort of seemed like the stereotypical Silent Strider to me. Just kind of like, she's the unofficial leader of the Northeast U.S. Silent Striders. Wise, strong, independent, always, and often speaks in questions because she needs to know it. But been disturbed by the reports of parents selling their children to the worm-tainted kidnappers. Meanwhile, Sekhmet's already on top of it. But yeah, so Silent Striders. And the last
it's pretty much your Solid Snake and your Colonel.
Yes.
That kind of relationship these two have.
Colonel. The next guy I wanted to talk about, just to get under Johnny's skin, Jacob fucking Morningkill.
You deserved your death. You deserve what was coming to you and more.
Yes. Strength 5, Dex 3, Stamina 5. Mildly charismatic, very manipulative. Alertness 5, Brawl 5, Dodge 5, Empathy 3. Pretty, rank 5. Pretty high up there. He is an old king, great, sad, wise, and old. But an absolute fucking bastard.
Oh my
he is
God.
Bipolar.
You want to talk about Caligula. You want to talk about, Nero.
Yes. He
Dude.
is the most bipolar afflicted wolf ever to live. The rule maker and arbiter of fates, he's magnanimous, authoritative, and a kindly ruler. But if anyone at all poses even the slightest hint of a challenge to his rulership, he is a tyrant, a vicious, pernicious bastard of a human being.
He will kill you.
Yes. He ruled well for many years, but as his years go on, as as Silver Fangs usually do, lost his crippling reality, started undercutting his loyal subjects who would have made far better replacements. He's sent his best soldiers into impossible quests, into clear ambushes. He's exiled people on foolish charges, even sent pups with great potential into deadly rites of passage. You will die, as every arbiter has before you. This man fucking deserved dying, but he wanted to die taking down as many other people as he could. His pride had prevented him from speaking up and ending the horrible situation he'd put himself in. And his madness has utterly destroyed everything he is. Fuck this guy.
And that his death came at the hands of Black Sparrow Dancers poisoning him, which is ironic because it would have played to their benefit had they left him alive. that
You played
And-
yourself.
eventually Jonas Albrecht would take his spot and try to do everything he could to fix the Garo Nation until he found out that he was also cursed with the 7 years of worship curse. But that would never affect him because he died fighting in the last battle against Zizak. And now we have the Burning Crown as a 3.5, or a meandering, flandering, slowly drowning Silverfangs as a W20.
Depending on which edition you go with. And the last one I wanted to talk about, because rarely do we ever get... Well, actually, no, this is a different clan, but I actually kind of like this guy just because he's, just an interesting character. Robert Kinsolver of, I believe it was Uktena. He's a Hamid Theurge. What's up?
They had nothing but winners in this book.
No, yeah, the Uktena had a fucking stacked group between Bull Roarer, Clubfoot Razorneck, and now this guy who I want to talk about.
I was going to use Bull Roarer, but then a poop came into the story.
Yeah. So, Robert Kinsolver is kind of like the antithesis of the two other main Uktena in this story. He's a sleek younger wolf with glossy brown coat and a little bit of red on the neck and back. He's lean and he's trim. In Hamid form, he's a young Amerindian man, shoulder-length hair, wears a jacket. He's a very energetic and frenzied young man, speaks very quickly, will talk to basically any Garo who will listen. He tirelessly seeks out to build bridges. He was born in the Tuscarora Indian Reservation, and he proved to be a gifted scholar, but a deeply troubled child. At 10 years of age, he mastered all of his high school coursework and then studied at Niagara University as part of his experimental program for gifted teenagers, but he had some severe emotional issues and became just a hardcore alcoholic just before his 13th birthday. The change was terribly traumatic. He fell into a catatonic state in which he shuttled back and forth between forms, screaming in agony the whole time. The Uktena were about ready to just kill him because of what he'd become. But the allied spirits, leaped from their fetishes to protect the insensate boy. And 3 days after, an Alaskan Uktena shaman, 3 scary women took him away from New York and spirited him to Alaska. When he returned, he had the eyes of a shaman. He was, seeing beyond. Basically, the book doesn't describe what 3 scary women did to him, but, he has a new life, a new spirit about him. He spends most of his time trying to link together the Native American population in New York. He's told the Garo of New York that they need to concentrate on helping the natives heal. The Garo themselves need to acknowledge their own wounds and their own flaws. And the Garo are actually contributing to the power of the word and need fundamental change in all of them. And it starts with a closer alignment with the other Garo. He's like 2 steps away from actually becoming a child of Gaia in this sense, with how much he wants to unite people. And some other Uktena absolutely hate him for his open ideas. Especially Clubfoot Razorneck.
Basically, Uktena Farrakhan.
Yeah, that's the thing I thought that was really neat, because most other Uktena are just like, all right, they colonized us, we're gonna take our fucking revenge and colonize them back. Not Robert Kinsolver. He was taken by the shaman, and he must have undergone some deep spiritual journey in order to come back and realize that the only way forward was through unity. I actually really like that idea for the Uktena.
He's the guy who's on the street quoting Malcolm X, saying, if you stab me in the chest with a 9-inch long knife and you pull it out 6 inches, you haven't fixed it. And then you pull it into a metaphor of the knife being racism and you haven't fully pulled out the knife, But, he's got those quotes on his phone, ready to pull out in the middle of a speech.
He definitely does, but he seems well-meaning about it at the very least.
I'm surprised you did not talk about a certain character in this book.
Which one?
Slashers at the Heart of the Worm.
I was considering it, but I looked at that, I'm like, that's just a pretty standard Red Talon, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Introducing Slashers at the Heart of the Worm. He kills people.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, that's the end of that. Let's move on to the next guy.
That's why I didn't like his artwork looks sick, but I really didn't see much point in fucking, going past
The most detailed face out of all the Red Talons.
Yes.
You look at this guy, you can see just like how scary he is when he comes up at you.
Yeah, he is. He looks terrifying, but he is basically just like the stereotypical Red Talon convict friend of the Wendigo. He's like, you Wendigos staying in Canada, cowering behind your snow and ice when you should be out there killing. That slashes at the heart of the worm. That's all he does.
He's going to the Red Talon rally and he's saying, "Kill those humans."
Basically, yeah, that's all he is. That's why I didn't want to talk about him, because he's just a Red Talon.
You think he was at the university riots that have been going on recently, just in disguise, causing shit just because it was the excuse for him to do so?
Well, no, because if you were there, then a lot more people would have died.
Who's to say they weren't? Who's to say that Pentax didn't scrub it from the news?
Yeah, that's true as well.
Well, let's bring a Red Talon to college. Let's see how well that goes.
I mean, depending on where you go and rage across Appalachia.
See, we just walk into the middle of the campus with leaves. Just leave them alone. Walk away. Just watch what happens.
Oh, dude, he'd hate the shit out of that.
See, is this your dog, not a leash?
No, it's okay. He's well trained as he's gnawing on somebody's leg.
No, just let him smell your hand. Just let him smell your hand.
Some fucking greasy-haired prayer bead wearing motherfucker showed up to the dog park with a whole ass wolf.
Oh, right. Let's talk about the most based faction in all of World of Darkness. Now, here's the thing. This ties in with Hunter the Reckoning. And as we've said in the show several times, Justin Achille, Daniel Braga, Jonathan Byerly, Edward Austin Hall, Kareem Muammar, Mario Otegon, Pam Panzala, and Eric Roberts, you're all idiots. You had no business whatsoever writing for Hunter the Reckoning. If you're not actually going to read the fucking Hunter books, don't write for Hunter. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Because you put the Order of the Rose in Hunter 5e, and it is nothing like it is in Old World of Darkness. Because the way I got introduced to the Order of the Rose is that they looked like either an offshoot of the Society of St. Leopold, where it was supposed to be like, I don't know, like Vatican II, and you get to look up Vatican II in your spare time and learn about how stupid idea that was for the Catholic Church.
Yo, the Vatican's so great, why don't they make another one? Vatican II.
And there you have it. Behold, your entire system topples overnight. Or they were Protestant church hunters, or even Mormon church hunters. And I would have been fine with that until I realized you just made Hunter the Vigil 3rd edition, and I quickly threw away my copy of Hunter 5e. Because that's where it belongs, in the fucking trash.
Yes.
But I looked at Order of the Roses in this, and I thought, oh my god, this is the most based faction in all World of Darkness. Because this is a group that, yes, did spin off the Society of St. Leopold, and then decided that they were going to reenact the Sound of Freedom. Before that became a movie.
Hang on, which one? The Rose Becomes the Worm or Healing in Heaven?
Yeah, the Rose Becomes the Worm. Like, you read what Sister Grace does. You tell me about that. You tell me about her.
Yeah. So, Sister Grace, she's, a heavy-set middle-aged nun, very manly in nature as nuns go. But her face is very sad, and she has a wooden leg. Basically, she places the children in an underground foster network to reunite the kids with loving parents. They find children snatched by abusers, protect and shelter women who snatch their children from abusive husbands and sometimes wives. They know about the ritual defiler worm abuse, but they don't know it's the 7th generation, but they're very quickly catching on.
Now, checking out her friend, Adam O'Bedlam, who is in the running for sickest character design.
Yeah, he
Now, how this
does
guy
look cool as hell.
how this guy picked up gifts, I don't know. How he managed to get those, I don't know. But
Yeah, sense the
dog,
unnatural open seal and blissful ignorance.
yeah, look at his stats: 4 dexterity, 3 brawl, 3 dodge, 3 melee. Do not fight this guy in a knife fight.
No, that dude'll fuck you up.
Also, this guy's Hispanic. I'm pretty sure Adam of Bedlam is not his real name.
Probably not, but given what
Yeah.
he has to do, he's probably,
Now, the thing is, this guy knows about the worm. How does he know? Because he was bought and sold by the 7th generation by the Snatchers unit. And dude emancipates himself and then he's on this massive revenge quest. So, now, he is not going to rest in peace until every single member of the 7th generation is in the ground. And dog, if I did make Ridge Cross New York about the 7th generation, this guy would have been in the game.
Oh, he and I would have been best
100%.
fucking friends.
Exactly. I gotta find a way to reuse this guy somewhere somehow.
I don't know. I'm on board. I love the hell out of him.
Exactly.
I love his
We might go
role-playing
Russian
notes.
versus
Cackle
that.
maniacally, shout angrily, think quietly, pause and cackle again.
Because like from the stuff this guy's been through, he is fucked up mentally.
Oh, yeah.
Horus could bounce back from what Set did to him because of his lineage. Not like erasing or anything shit like that. Get out of your mind. I mean, like this dude's the son of Osiris,
Yes.
but Adam being a guy off the street, having what was done to Horus done to him, dog, you can't live a normal life after that happens to you. I mean, I don't think you've read it. If anyone in here in this video has read Baraska, the kind of stuff that happens to you in that story, you can't live a normal life after that happens to you.
No.
You can't go back and live a normal life after that. And that is shown in Adam, where yes, this guy is badass, but the amount of shit he had to go through to become badass is harrowing.
Yeah, quite literally on the back end of it is one of his fragmented personas is a very effective guerrilla operative, but others are fearful and catatonic. His greatest fear is that his strong personalities will abandon him at a crucial point in a mission, and he will revert to a helpless child and die.
Dissociative identity, dude.
Yes, it's a bitch.
Yeah, come to think about it, Adam of Bedlam might be the name of his alter ego.
It might be.
That might be it, actually.
I mean, after all he's been through, I imagine leaving behind a cursed name would be part of it.
And next up is Heaven, where the Silver Fangs finally have a W under their belt.
Yes.
Finally.
About
It
goddamn
took how many
time.
episodes?
So basically what Heaven is, it's a Garo underground railroad in order to help find and refuge, abused children from the horrors of their kidnapping and molestation at the hands of the 7th generation Defiler Worm. In the days before Heaven was formed, the Garo periodically ran across children when they flushed out worm ritual sites, and at first they would just, release them back into the world, but when they realized that they had no homes and they were put in the custody of the state, and then they were marked by the worm, and then they pulled them right back in. So then they realized that, and it was Loba Carcassonne who decided to start collecting the children, taking them to other states, and putting them in homes with kinfolk in order to raise them in a better place. But when they learned that the worm-abused children grew up to become worm-ridden abusers, she built her underground railroad, and Heaven was born. It's both a place and a group. It has no fixed location, and it's constantly changing membership. But it exists solely to protect children from abuse and worm infestation to try and heal them.
And what kind of boggles my mind about Ridge Cross, New York, after reading this, is that why did the angels in the garden not play a bigger role? Not play a bigger role in this book.
Probably because it already had 5 billion things going on in it.
Exactly. But, dog, we never did meet the Principe Pirates in Ridge Cross, New York, the way I ran it. But they would have been tied in with this to a smaller extent. Because I made those guys Patient Indeed and Angels and Gardens. And, we just never met them because the campaign never came around to it. But, dude, we could finally get based militant Children of Gaia, thanks to heaven. Because the Angels in the Garden, given that what that camp does, 100% they're involved in this operation. 100%. And, looking at this, Pearl River and True Silver Hills, why aren't you involved in this? Damn it.
Yeah. I don't know, like I said, there was already a lot in this goddamn book. I mean, this is a lot of what's going on is in regards to heaven and the Underground Railroad. And that would it's in of itself be a great campaign. Find the worm, kill the worm, save the children, be the big hero.
And the moral of today's episode is stop fucking kids.
Yeah, if you fuck kids, take a note from Bud Dwyer. And if yes, and if someone you know was abused by somebody, take a note from Gary Plowshay.
And we've got one more group that defends kids, the Changelings.
Yes.
You forgot about them, didn't you? Nope,
yes.
They're back.
The fairies, the Arcadia and the Erdiendaks. I think that's how it's spelled.
Yes.
The two ones that come up in the book are Gibber and Creeper. Let's see there. So Gibber, bug your eyes out and bulge your cheeks, talk in a slow voice. Creeper, Crepper. Is it Creeper or Crepper? I don't know.
I'm gonna say Creeper. He's just given his name to Death Leopard spelling.
I guess, yeah. I'm
assuming they're both red caps.
Yeah, well, it says in the book they're Motlids, which I don't think we actually covered in our intro to Changeling video.
Okay, so they're spirits in that case. They're only present in the dream penumbra.
Yes. Gibber likes to play pranks on humans and Garrow, and his favorite trick is to take the form of a young Garrow, be sent on a rite of passage, and rally all the young fearful Garrow against their elders. He has played this game on 6 of the tribes so far, and won't be content until he collects all 13. He likes to waylay men and Garrow find their way into the mountains and trick them into drinking fairy wine that puts them in the magical stasis for decades. Ha 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 ha.
Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah, he has one Garrow and 2 humans sleeping in the fairy stronghold. The Garrow is a child of Gaia, and the children would be grateful to anyone who retrieved her. Creeper has discovered the world of machines and electronics, and he likes communicating with the elementals of electricity and wants to learn more. He likes messing up their technical devices like a gremlin, and he really, really wants to learn the gift to control complex machines. He would give a lot for that spell, including a harmony flute fetish. He would even teach the doppelganger gift or grant a favor to be called due at any time.
Harmony flute? I can't believe it. What does a harmony flute do?
I have no idea. What the fuck does it do?
Let's find out what the flute does.
Yes.
Okay, it's level 1 fetish. It's not that impressive, actually.
Oh, cringe.
Anyone with rage can overcome freaking the fuck out when you play this flute next to them.
Oh, so it basically cancels a frenzy?
Yes.
That might help.
That's good enough, I guess. Same time, you want the flute this badly, you don't want something like, I don't know, a Jarl Hammer?
Yeah, Jarl Hammer's probably better in combat.
Yeah, if we manage to get 5,000 likes on this, we'll give away Grimm's Jarl Hammer to the top comment.
Wait a minute, didn't Grimm give his Jarl Hammer to somebody?
No, he still has it.
Oh, okay. I thought he gave it to Reynard or something.
It's Grimm's Jarl Hammer giveaway.
Oh. It's literally just the hammer from the Rainbow Six Siege Major Leagues.
And then you get like a general stat block for Black Spell Dancers right next to that.
Yep.
So, yeah, good to have. Good to have. It's a little weird. It's right next to the Changelings, but you have it.
You gotta fucking put it in there somewhere, I guess.
And of course, we end up swapping these guys out with Danny Grand Slam and the rest of the Unseelie Court.
I don't know. I like my boy Danny. That's my boy right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, Victor Chaos in our server is drawing a picture of him, and no charge.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks to me turning 26 at the start of the month.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to myself.
Yes. Everybody wish John
See,
a
Ryan,
happy
have you been
birthday
saying
in the
this entire time
comments.
you're just muted. See, I think Grim's snoozing right now. Actually,
I don't blame him. I'm tired too.
Fiona, Tyler, take this stick and poke him with it.
Graham.
Yeah.
Graham, wake up.
Yep.
I know you're tired, man. We got an episode today.
It's been fucking frail all day. Being with the next stack will do that to a motherfucker, I guess.
That's true.
What's up?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there he is. He lives. Ugh.
I thought you were
Sorry.
sneezing. Must have been a long day.
Say it enough.
It was.
Yeah.
Every day's a long day.
Bro, we gotta stop. We gotta stop doing these podcasts on Sunday.
You
right,
want to do the
we're
Monday
doing the
night ones?
cairns.
You want to be scheduled Monday?
Well, I mean, I kind of like having the game night on Mondays because I don't gotta
Yeah.
get up until Tuesday.
We'll
but
swap dates around. Just do the yeah.
I don't know. Up to you.
All right, we're doing the cairns now, right?
Are we?
Yeah, the cairns. We have
Oh,
we have
yeah.
a handful of cairns. We can just shotgun right through these.
I'm gonna grab my glasses.
See,
All right.
it makes it
The
more
sept-
distinguished.
Well, it helps me look.
Yeah.
See.
Mm-hmm.
Sept of the White Water. Pause the
White
music.
water. All right.
Uh,
What's in there?
What's in there? There's a bunch of stuff.
It's water.
It's
It's
the
white.
Goat Island at Niagara Falls. It's a level 1. It's a Gnosis type sept.
Mm-hmm.
The tribal structure is open, but it's a shared between the Fiona and the Yoke Center. I think we were talking about that earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that cairn we mentioned before. That's what that is.
It has a spectacular view of the falls. The sept is headed by Bulroar of the Yoke Center, in nearby Tuscarora Indian Reservation.
Fun place to be. Everybody wants to be here.
Yes.
Yeah, the Worm, Agents of the Worm.
The war must be
Anna,
here. The mages want to
Anna.
be here. You got a beautiful view as you fall off the side of the waterfall to your death and then the 10 to 8 year.
I don't know, you just go
Delicious.
in a barrel. It's fine.
Let's see. The Sept of the Sentinel.
The Sept of the Sentinel. That's one that I mentioned earlier that had the war between the Red Talons, Wendigo, and Get.
Yes.
As of right now, the Get hold the primary structure.
As they should.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. It's a level 3 sept. It's in the peak of the Sentinel Mountain Range in the Adirondack Mountains.
Yes.
The totem is Tijus Keha. The
They have
Sentinel
American
of the
names.
Yeah, I'm butchering this. I apologize in
Yeah.
advance. They have one of the tallest mountains in the Adirondacks. Just reaching it on foot is a great challenge.
Pretty damn tall place. Gonna push you off to your death. Guff in this
Yeah.
way.
You know it.
See.
Uh,
We know this place next.
Sept of the Green. It's a level 3. It's a survival type.
Never actually went there.
It's open.
Yep. Central Park.
Open to
Central
Rat
Park.
Kitten. Yes.
It talked about several times. And, oh, you bet there's rats in this one. As big as Central Park is.
Especially with the tribal structure being dominated by bone arms.
Exactly. Do you know how many rats are in New York City?
They,
Too
they, out,
many.
they outnumber the people.
Let's pull it up real quick. Let me show you the 3
Wait.
million rats.
We talking about people or actual animals?
Like the
Actual
actual
animals.
animals.
I got you.
Yeah. So for every 2 people in New York, there is 1 rat.
Yeah, it says there's 3 million rats in New York, but that's just an estimate.
Yep. Which kind of boggles my mind that there's no dedicated ratkin page in this book.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Yes. Continue, Ryan. Sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah.
That has the least amount of information, Sept of the Green. So we're just going to move on to Sept of the Hand.
It's just Central Park.
Yeah.
There you go. There you have it.
It is near Sakana Lake and the Finger Lakes region. It's a level 5. The type is Enigmas and Healing.
Yes.
It is open, but it's dominated by the Black Furies. Life of the Nation is a potent and distant spirit. It's the totem for the Sept. It has been a sacred spot to the Pure Ones. It is nestled between huge, beautiful 600-foot deep glacial lakes. The geological structure of these lakes is not duplicated in anywhere else in the world. And Geru legend says that the left hand of Gaia reached down and scooped out most of the corrupt souls. I don't have the next page for that. Maybe I closed it because
I didn't give you the page. What?
No, I closed it.
Okay.
Worm Beast, as she cast out the wicked, she blessed the ground she touched. We were talking about that earlier as well.
Yep.
Yes.
There is another major spirit, I guess.
Yeah, but big damn spirits ended up rising to the position of totems with this this book.
Yeah. I think that was the last one.
Yep. Yeah, it's essentially it. Now, there is a little section in the back of here about alliances between being so... Yeah, but hold, the book mixes spots for you. Now, here's one I didn't think of. We have the obvious one with the Bonars and Nosferatu, because of course, that just makes sense. That was brought up in their clan book, in their tribe book. These two work together. This book confirms it.
Oh, yeah.
And second... Funny enough, the Fianna and the Toreador are working together.
Yeah, that was one of the weird things I noticed about that. I'm like, how the fuck does that work?
Why?
Well, it's simple. Big tits.
Oh.
Exactly. The Fianna wants the Toreador pussy, and so they go over and get on their knees and tie their own hands behind their back, and then they have their way. Exactly. I mean, dog. It's the tribe of carnal pleasures and the entire clan of carnal pleasures. You can see why these two go along. But it's more that the two of them are sick of their leadership, because there is a Toreador population in New York. It's small, but it's there, and they are sick to damn death of living under Polonia. The Fianna are pretty sick of one Jacob Morningkill. So the two of them meet after work and then share their sorrows about how much they hate their bosses.
Yep, and they're like, you like fucking, we like fucking. What if we get together and fuck up this whole city?
They ask you if you know about the Kama Sutra.
Yeah,
No, but if you buy me a drink, I'm sure we can figure it out.
63 different kissing positions. Next up,
Alright, you had me kissing.
This, I think you might have gotten the clans mixed up, but we'll go with it anyway. The Shadow Lords and the Giovanni. Now, as we talked about with the Giovanni portion of the Glasswalkers video, it's the Glasswalkers who are working with the Giovanni, but I guess the Shadow Lords also have a piece of it. After seeing how much money the Giovanni had at the time of this book happening in the timeline, which is around 1995, and then the Shadow Lords would then abandon the Giovanni after the Giovanni Chronicles, leaving the Glasswalkers open to take the reins.
And you said they should be in charge anyway, just because you're a Glasswalker, but
Exactly. The Italian mafioso vampire, they have a lot of money, yes. And next up, oddly enough, the Glasswalkers of the city have a partnership with the Sabbat.
Yeah,
Sabbat. Now, as we talked about with the Glasswalkers video, it's the Glasswalkers who are working with the Giovanni, but I guess the Shadow Lords also have a piece of it. After seeing how much money the Giovanni had at the time of this book happening in the timeline, which is around 1995, and then the Shadow Lords would then abandon the Giovanni after the Giovanni Chronicles, leaving the Glasswalkers open to take the reins.
And you said they should be in charge anyway, just because you're a Glasswalker, but Yeah,
You
I'm not
know.
sure about that either.
You
Bro,
know,
you're gonna get fucking melted.
Now, the reason why they're getting along with the Sabbat is because they're talking with the reasonable members, aka the many anti-tribu, Ecaterina's people, that you can at least bargain and talk with because that's the smart Bruja. As for the La Sombra and the Zamichi, no, you can't reason with that. Can't reason with that.
I don't know.
Though,
I guess does that make Geronimo Baseggio the exception to the rule?
well, yeah, because he's one of the nicer La Sombra, and I guess the occasional La Sombra who's sick to death of waiting for a promotion that will never happen will turn coat and help out the Glasswalkers instead.
That's fair. I don't know. I did
After
like
all,
Geronimo Baseggio. He seemed like one of the few vampires that was like a decent person.
Suffered through his entire existence.
Yeah.
And we've got just a little bit of time in this episode. I actually want to use this as a bit of a time to reflect on the story that we told. Yeah, this is just going to be us tuning our own horn. You can go ahead and leave if you want.
Don't say that.
about the game that we ran with Ridgecrest New York. And I could have made that about the world. I could have made that about New York City itself. I could have had any of these come up in it. But the way I wanted to run it was that I wanted it to be a more personal story. Where you had the threat of Malkav in it, but I wanted this to be more about like a tale that was more along the lines of Wizard of Oz, where each of your characters end up developing their own way. Like Grimm, for example, where it's the big bad wolf slowly learns to become human. That was the plot I had with you.
Yeah.
Because Grimm comes in, he is the Sigma Andrew Tate male, coming in with little to no empathy for his fellow man. And then it's thanks to his interactions with Freya and eventually taking care of the rest of the pack that he ends up settling down and connects with that Hamid side of him. Then Tyler, we had you as this drunken, drugged up loser that nobody ever wanted to be around. And at the end of the day, he's still a bit of a loser, but at least he managed to, thanks to being a Pollyanna who's not going to let his own circumstances get in the way of him living his life, managed to find a group of people that actually love and respect him. And managed to find a place in the world where, for his entire life, he's been treated like shit. So that was what I had with you.
Very, very loose term, but let's go to Moira.
Alice for Elmira, we had Black Fury who did nothing but sleep around all day and just kind of coasted through being a werewolf to eventually, over the course of the game, you saw Meepian take up more and more responsibility with Elmira until eventually taking position as Bacchus' champion.
Yep.
Because after all,
she was one of the, next to Grimm was one of the strongest fighters in the party.
She never went down once in the entire game.
No, she was really good.
She suffered grievous injuries, but thanks to Wild Resurgence, we can hurt you as much as you want, as much as I want, and you'll still bounce back from it. And I loved during that proposal scene that it didn't go down the Hollywood ending, and it still showed her development. I'm not sure how much Meepian was noticing it with Elmira, but Elmira at the start of the game would have immediately jumped onto Tyler and probably would have just been in a marriage just for the sex. But instead, she turns down the proposal and says, I have too much work to do as the champion. And she's still in the relationship with Tyler, but the responsibilities of the Black Furies tribe comes first, something she wouldn't have done at the start of the game.
Yep, but now with the pressure of being Box's champion, and now, like, you know, a power vacuum in New York after the fall of Malkav, there's a lot of work to do.
And that same power vacuum led to the rise of Chico, who went from a wandering vagabond that couldn't wait to get his hands on the free wine when he visited the Black Furies, to the president of New York City, where, thanks to that massive power vacuum, the Shadow Lords being kicked to the curb, the Glasswalkers losing everything they could have used to take New York for themselves, and nobody left to take over, the Bonars swoop in with the Black Furies right behind them, and they finally get a chance to lead, and it's Chico, the most unlikely person, thanks to his own initiative and his own genius intellect, ends up making all the right decisions and eventually takes the leadership position.
But that's the thing I like about him, is that Chico, even though Grimm was the pack alpha undisputed, Chico was the perfect de facto leader. And the de facto leaders are, always the ones that make the greatest change of the world. They're the what a book that my dad read a long time ago called a window leader. Some people get it. Some leaders get in through the front door. They know the right people to get their name on the list. They shake the right hands and say the right things. And then you get one renegade that, doesn't really know everybody, but gets in through the window and manages to charm everybody else when he manages to get in the door. Enough to the point where everybody wants to listen to him instead of whoever was supposed to be in charge. But honestly, that level of organic nature to him made him an incredibly popular character in general. Just because, no, he wasn't as like ludicrously powerful with his claws like Grimm was. He wasn't as charismatic or manipulative as Reynard or Tyler, but he was a normal guy that everybody liked and that people were willing to listen to him because he was a normal, reasonable guy, making him the perfect de facto leader.
And there's a reason why he won the popularity poll, because Chico on the surface was super simple, but then the more you looked at him, Ham is such a good actor when it comes to our games.
He is.
Because we missed him a lot when it came to running our some of the games. Like Theros, he was absent for a lot of that. For the first part of Vampire, he missed a lot of sessions, but he comes back with Vigo Corinth and instantly wins us over with him. Like Ragnar is, of course, like our collective favorite vampire from that game, but Vigo was hot on his heels. I gave him more screen time in New York, and he steals the show in every scene he appears in.
Vigo was probably one of the most lovable villains I've ever seen. Like he is such a good villain. He is such effortless charisma whenever he's on screen. His ego is just fucking over. Like, one thing I noticed during the finale, when he met up with Sylvester again, was the very obvious like tremble of fear in his voice that his friend who he betrayed for power had come back to finally enact his revenge. That was so brilliant of him. I can't fucking stand it. It's so
and then he
good.
talks his way out of it.
He does. Yeah. He does. That was the incredible thing.
He manages to pull off what Araki did with Rudolf von Stroheim, where you took a character who is literally the worst and you made him super popular amongst us.
Like, make no mistake, Vigo Corinth as a character is a terrible human being. He devours whoever he feels like. He is ruthless. He's cowardly. He kills for fun. He doesn't shy away from genocide or extreme acts of violence whenever he can. But you can't help but smile when he's on screen.
Just to create his own personal fan club, he sired 3 vampires.
Yes!
Right.
He's such a good villain. I'm really going to miss him for Appalachia.
See. And lastly, Reynard was the least developed of all of our characters, only because Sean was absent for so much of the game. But at the same time, the twist that we had with him recontextualized the character, and I feel like that made up for it.
It really did. His performance in like the last 2 or 3 episodes was especially his fight against Jekyllstein fucking sold his character for me. It was such a good payoff after he was gone for so long.
Where he manages to say all the right things, and that scene went as well as I could have made it, thanks to Sean being pretty damn good when it comes to roleplay.
Sean's a damn good actor.
Yeah, I met him in that shitty Dragon Heist game I talked about in the Roast to 5e video. But he was the best part about that game, and there's a reason I said, I'm leaving this group, I want you to come with me. And so he did, and well, that was the start of our relationship. And
at this point, you're like D&D talent acquisition.
Yeah. And yeah, that was a really fun game to run, and same with like the other themes you had about power dynamics, loss of power, loss of traditions, the old generation losing everything to the younger generation, just all the different things in there, because your interactions with Wrath of the Storm too, a Shadow Lord that progressively loses everything over the course of the game.
Yep.
Well, you just gain and gain and gain. Aaron Burr from Hamilton was on my mind when I was playing that character, where that's a character that keeps getting his progress stunted by the main hero until it gets to the point where he's angry enough to kill him.
I mean, I was about to kill him for leaving, but I knew that was a fight I couldn't win at that point.
And that game went off so well, and of course there's some messy parts in it where, yeah, you could say that there's issues with the plot itself, but the plot was never the big focus of it. The character interactions, the drama behind it was, that was the focus.
Honestly, I think one of my favorite scenes that I played as Tyler in that was after Storm got like pummeled into the pavement by Burst Bruiser, and Tyler was just desperately trying to find a way to save him, just because he'd finally found a group that like seemed like he could actually care about, and if he did enough to keep them alive, then maybe they'd respect him. And maybe saving this guy who he might have had feelings for, just putting that emotion in the scene, and then the worm spirit comes out and starts prodding him about it. I love playing that scene. That was one of my favorite scenes to play for Tyler.
Where you gave that your all too, and how it just got worse and worse as it went on.
Yep. And then I had a seizure, and Chico knocked me out.
I was ready for that too, because I've seen a video of Wolf having a seizure, and another wolf broke him out of it by grabbing the back of his neck and literally yanking him out of the seizure.
Yeah, even still, that was a good scene for me. Grim, basically just any interaction that Grim had with Freya was just like such an uplifting moment that, you know, it really helped alleviate the stress, if just for a little bit. And it's funny that performance came from like the strongest fighter of the group.
Exactly. It goes to show that, Ryan, do not sell yourself short. You did fantastic with Grim.
Yeah. Grim.
I feel like there's more areas where I could have done better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
After all,
you really did come into your own with Grim, though. I really loved you playing as Grim.
You placed number 2 in a popularity poll, after all.
I voted for you in that, just to put that out there. Like, you were Grim was my favorite character in the campaign.
It was a tie between Chico and Tyler.
Yeah,
I ended up going with Chico.
As you should. Chico's a better character than Tyler.
And so, yeah, these are the kind of stories you can tell with New York as a setting, because, like we said at the start of the video, you can just do whatever you want with the setting. I mean, after all, it's New York City. There's 8 million people living in here. Go wild with it. After all, what's the equation with this? For every 50,000 people, there's one vampire.
I think something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so you got a pretty decent sized population you can fit in here.
That doesn't count ghouls, though, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blow up New York with all these vampires.
Moral of the story: play Rage Across New York or New York by Night, but be selective about the content you pick.
Yeah, because, like we said, there's a lot to pick from.
Oh, yeah. It's a jam-packed book.
You have to run it as is.
You have to mix all the splats together cohesively. Every splat needs to appear at least once.
Yep.
You
got to put the lime in the
take
coconut.
a couple of years.
Put the lime in a coconut and drink it all up.
Find a way to fit Demon the Fallen in here, you idiot. Go ahead.
Now, with the Nefandi and 7th generation, you probably could.
Yeah, and...
How fucked would that be? Like a Luciferian finding out about the 7th generation.
That would spin in the face of Lucifer's plan, and they try to fight it.
I know, but that'd be great. It's like, oh, you're supposed to be demons, the ultimate evil. You destroy humanity.
You can imagine, just like the closing thought for that, the scene from Prince of Egypt where the Angel of Death appears.
Yeah.
That's the sweep that would happen if a Luciferian was in New York.
Yeah, I feel like that would be like a neat end game scenario to that plot line in of itself. If you wanted to play like a 7th generation focused Rage Across New York game.
Call your friends with Clan Bali, they'll help you out.
Yeah. But how much, really?
Clan Bali,
whatever the Angel of Death doesn't kill, the Garrow probably will.
All right. You think that's enough for this episode?
I think that is more. Yeah, just go
All
play Rage Across New York. It's fun, and watch our live play.
And come in for the second half of this book. We're reading from Rage Across the World, Volume 1. We will cover the Amazon next.
Yep, big damn war, and all the trees are on fire.
It's a mess in a different way.
I can't wait.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Murder Ahoy. Whoa, that's Ahoy. We'll see you later.
Have a good night, guys.